Yeah. Yes. So, yeah, this is the prayer of January 11th.
Then,
Yeah. So, Chitraji, would you just continue and share your reflections on this prayer?
yeah, this first these lines struck me because I am always fond of prayers, no? So, in this way, all anxieties will be transformed into serenity, all anguish into peace, all doubts into certainties, all ugliness into harmony. Yeah, these lines really struck me a lot actually. Uh, then mother raised the question, no, but art thou not already performing this beautiful miracle? It is a sort of assurance she again and again gave to humanity, no, in all the prayers actually. So, and also she is saying only our own blindness deprives us of comforting sight of thy constant victory. So after this, I came to that initial lines actually. Thy manifestation could at each moment become so evident that the whole universe would be transformed by it. So I read like this first this prayer, and then she assured the humanity this miracle will take place, and then this manifestation. I really so many times I read the prayer, and these things came to me like this actually. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Chitraji.
Yeah.
Yes. So, who wants to go next and share reflections on this prayer, January 11, 1914?
Uh, Basically, it is to reaffirm in us that the transformation is still taking place despite anything. And she is trying to make us understand that the whole universe is undergoing transformation. It's just that we are not keeping ourselves so aware of it and the miracle of the transfiguration that is happening. So that sort of struck me, and that if you give yourself entirely, everything changes into a better frame, into serenity, into peace, into giving, into self giving. The ego gets transformed, everything. So that's why I also chose a prayer almost matching it, that you surrender to you completely and that this is undergoing a change. In fact, I think a lot of it has come, but we are blinded by our own habits and ways that we don't see it and we are not aware. That's what I basically felt.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much. So, Shreya, would you like to share any reflections on this prayer, January 11, 1914? Hello. Hello. Yes, you're audible, Shreya. Yeah. I just said that I haven't read the prayer. Okay, okay. And then we can just start reading one by one. And in between, if you feel like sharing, just share, unmute and share. Definitely. Okay. So, January 11, 1914, every moment, all the unforeseen, the unexpected, the unknown is before us. Now, this very first line itself, we think that we know how the next moment is going to be. We think that मुझे पता है कि आगे क्या होना है, and that is how we make our plans, that we have something coming from the past, and from the past we have imaginations of the future, and that is what we plan, that okay, I know what I want to do in the next moment, so that is how we make our plans. But here something else is being said. Every moment, all the unforeseen, that which has never been seen, the unexpected, that which has never been expected, The unknown, that which is not known beforehand, is before us. But the unfortunate fact is that the way we live life is that we continue carrying our past into the present moments. As if a new moment comes, all the moments are completely fresh, new, and I put all the past rotten material of past memories, past thoughts. It may be even, in on spiritual path, we can even put the past spiritual aspects, try to put it in the new moments, like as if, I had written this blog of rotten khichdi. That is what I felt, that as if every new moment is trying to come show something new to me. But owing to the fact that ego is so trapped to the past, it's like tied to the past, that I don't allow anything new to happen. I just want my own, what I feel is right, to continue. And in that, I miss the joy of something new. And for those of us who have tasted this, even for once, if we have been able to taste this joy of a new moment, it's completely fresh, completely new. There is no past coming inside the inside it, and there is no future expectation from it. You are fully there in your deep surrender, that okay, let me see what life has to show me in this moment, what self revelation this moment has for me. So if we can live life knowing that yes, every moment can be a new moment, is a new moment, then it is not possible that I don't live a life of continuing self revelation. Continuing, I can never say that I have known myself enough. There will be even more deeper aspects of me which I am not even aware of. And each new moment, each fresh moment comes with that potential. Every moment the universe is created anew. Even I'm sure Jyotsna ji would agree, as a doctor, that each moment our body is undergoing so much of change, so much of change. Cells are dying, cells are getting born, old repair is happening. So as if the whole service station is there, and we have no clue that this is happening. We are so deluded by the form of the body, that as if this body ends at the border of my, of whatever I look like. So even if we go deeper into the atom, deeper into the uh, you know uh, atomic particles, we will see that they also have a different character. They are sometimes wave, sometimes particle. So how can you say that an electron ends here? You cannot say, because it becomes a wave again. So how can I say that my body has this limit, what is shown or what is seen by my physical senses? It is such a delusion, that we enter into. And that makes us believe that my body is a settled phenomenon. It is like rigid, like a stone. It's never changing. And even if a stone appears like a stone, as if it does not change, it is like rigid. If you go deeper and to investigate the particulate matter of stone, science, quantum physics will demonstrate it, that the border that appears as the border of stone is not a border at all. It does not, it is not there. That border is not there. Sometimes it's wave, sometimes it's particle. So we are deluded by the physical appearance of things. And mother says that if you really want to go ahead on this path, stop taking things on their face value. We also have to stop taking things on the face value. For example, looking at our body, that I end where the body ends. This is a stone, and that is its limit. So this is the beauty. Every moment the universe is created anew in its entirety. Not even a few aspects of universe. Mother is saying in its entirety, every moment is new. But where are we trapped? We are trapped in the mind games. They are not new. They are old ones. We are trapped in images about myself. We are trapped by our relationship issues, for example. And they're all of past. Me and my story, they're all past. And owing to the fact that I enter into this dungeon of mind, I'm not able to tap into this new entirety. That yes, there is a freshness in life. Why can't we experience this freshness? Mostly because I am in a dungeon. I am trapped in a dungeon. and where I'm not able to see that. How can you say every moment is new? I don't feel every moment is new. Why? Because my mind is not letting me experience the moment afresh. Mind is of the past. And even when we talk about future, what can I foresee in future? I will only see my past continuing in some other way in future. Me and my story, it's past, and now me and my story, it's future. So one common connecting thread, past and future, is me and my story. So it seems that future is something new for us, those of us who are mostly living from the domain of ego. But the future is also the past. So there is nothing new really happening. And that is why we can't feel the freshness of life just as young children can. They can feel the freshness of life, in the beginning years at least, before the real distortion has been done to them. And thankfully, if some of us are able to escape that distortion, then a part of us is able to take each moment as a new moment. And if we had a truly living faith, if we had the absolute certitude of thy omnipotence and thy sole reality, thy manifestation could at each moment become so evident that the whole universe would be transformed by it. Now, it's not that the manifestation is not happening, it's not that the universe is not created anew, it is happening. But owing to the fact that where is my focus? My focus is totally on the rotten thoughts of the past and rotting future, right? Why I say rotting future? Because the kind of future that I think of, it's just a continuity of the past. There is nothing new in that. Yeah. So whatever I can think about the future, it is all coming from the past. Maybe in past I have had a relationship. So what would I want in future? To not to have a relationship, right? So I am just tied to my experiences as if. So mother is saying here that if we had a truly living faith, a faith that is an active faith, a faith that is conscious, not even really conscious of itself, I would say, because when I see little children, they don't even know that they have faith. They are in oblivion having the faith. So mother is saying for adults, if we have a living faith, a faith that is in active, its rigor is there. The faith is available to our experience in daily life, and also the certitude that you are the all powerful reality. You have all the powers to change the life of people and myself, right? That kind of power to change the whole drama that we are trapped in at times. And you are the sole reality. Now when mother says sole reality, that there is nothing but the divine. So even when I am trapped in the maya or in the illusion or the trap is also the divine. And in the trap, middle of the trap, if I become aware that yes, the trap is the divine only disguised as the trap, it is not possible that a new learning, a new door does not open for me. It is not possible. But owing to the fact that we think that the days of brightness and the days spent in good fortune are divine, or maybe even there we are sleeping, and when we are in darkness, we are not able to see that. How can I see divine? I don't see any divine here, right? So this is the thing, that if I can become aware that owing to the fact that everything is the divine, hence the darkness is the divine. Now what is the divine trying to show me here? What are my eyes opening up to in this dark challenge? And it is not possible that a new door, a new window is not opened in front of me owing to that realization. Then mother says, thy manifestation could at each moment become so evident. Now this is the evidence, that in the middle of a dark challenge, the moment I realize that yes, it is divine disguising itself in some kind of a darkness, it becomes suddenly a new door opens. I am sent into my depths. Some realization happens, or some little baby step I am able to take within the depth of my being. Something will become evident, that the whole universe will be transformed by it. Now, what is the whole universe? We are a microcosm. We are a demonstration of a whole universe. So each little change that happens in me, each little transformation, each little purity that I undergo, the universe changes owing to that. I am the universe. We don't have to wait for the rest of us to change, and only then we would change. And I'm sure we all who are here today hearing this, we know that the moment we begin to become purer and refiner, and there is no end to that purity, there is no end, because the illusion is so strong that it can jump back anytime. The moment we see a little baby step taken in our own being, it is not a possibility that that ripple does not go, because we are all connected. We are not limited to the bodies that we think that we are, right? So the whole universe immediately gets transformed the moment something changes in me. Feel free to unmute and share, and at any point of time, don't feel that you'll be interrupting in between. Please share whenever you have something. But we are so enslaved to everything that is around us. Now this is the maya, this is what traps us each moment of time, that how can I ignore that I have a past? How do I don't consider it real? When it is burdening my head, when it is burdening my whole emotions, the chest is occupied by the load on my chest. How can I know that it is not real? Right? This is the thing that we are trapped into. But we are so enslaved to everything that is around us and has gone before us, the past. We are so influenced by the whole totality of manifested thing, everything that the eyes can see, everything that the eyes have seen, everything that my senses have touched, have tasted, experiences of love, of relationships. How can I know that that is not real? So that slaves us, that past sticks to us so tightly. We are so influenced by the whole totality of manifested things, and our faith is so weak that we are yet unable to serve as intermediaries for the great miracle of transfiguration. The faith is so weak. Now, when mother says faith is so weak, what comes to me that somewhere I am thinking that I know better how my life should be operating. This is the weakness of the faith, that if I don't have a high house, if I don't have a relationship, I will be in a very bad condition. This is the lack of faith. How will I survive if my child is not with me? How will I survive if my relationship breaks? How will I survive if all that I consider important is taken away from me? Right? This is the lack of faith that is put on our face every passing moment. We have to almost struggle with this sticking of the past to the mind. And owing to the fact that this happens, mother says that we are not able to serve as intermediaries for the great miracle of transfiguration. Now, what is the miracle of transfiguration? Every moment I have a choice. What is that choice? That I don't have to follow the dictates of my mind, which is tied to the past. Every moment I can be a bansuri which is free of the kachada inside the bansuri. Now the bansuri is my being, the flute is my being, and the kachada, the garbage inside the bansuri, is all that sticks to me, the past. And the Krishna, poor Krishna, he's trying to breathe through us, but how would he be able to pass the breath while the instrument is choked with the past manifestations? This is the choice that we have to take. How would the flute serve as an intermediary for the Krishna's breath to pass? By making the use of this choice, and no matter how important my past appears, how important my future appears, get rid of the garbage immediately as soon as I get to know that something is sticking to me. Nothing is more important than being an empty flute. Nothing on earth. And we struggle with this, all of us, no matter how far we have reached in our sadhana. The past can come anytime and stick to us. So one does not need the feel to be ashamed that, oh my God, it has come again. No need. Because shame is another sticking, shame is another garbage in the flute. The moment I realize that I am burdening myself with something and I would not like to be there, I have the courage, I have the choice, immediately I can drop off that garbage and be free of it. Only then we can serve as an intermediary for the miracle of transfiguration. What is the transfiguration? That I am not following the tendencies, vrittis, and patterns of my emotions and thoughts, in my thinking patterns. I'm not stuck to those thinking patterns. I'm making a courageous choice to let go of those thinking patterns or emotional patterns or tendencies, although I know that they are so, so, so dear to me. I also see their non benefit to me. So I take this courageous step to drop off and become an empty flute again, whenever possible. Now, at times, we are not able to do that. At times, just the mind gives so much of a burden that it feels so, so important to think about it. That is what happens. We think that if we'll not be thinking about this, then something will be taken away, as if I will lose some treasure. But the biggest treasure that we lose in that loop is being an empty flute. That is the biggest treasure. you know. So this is serving as intermediaries. But along with this so-called uh, fact, Mother also says, but Lord, I know that I will come, it will come one day. So there is certitude. Mother can see the changes. We can all see some or the other changes. I know that a day will come when thou wilt transform all those who come to us. Mother, people who are meeting people and listening to their sufferings and listening to whatever they are going through, they feel that pain also, right? So mother is saying that yes, I see that there is a possibility, not even a possibility, there is a certitude, that I know that a day will come when you will, through their own experiences and wisdom and light of consciousness, you will be able to transform all those who come to us. Thou wilt transform them so radically that liberated completely from the bonds of past. Now this is very important, because this is the biggest trap that traps us. The bonds of past, or bonds of past. This we all have experience, really
Yeah,
practical
yeah.
experiences. Yeah. You want to share, Chitraji?
Yeah, actually, the bonds of the past, even you talked about that faith also. Even when we have the strong faith, that faith also automatically, as if we will be protected in future, and our past will be carried over to that faith will be there. No, actually, we won't seek the divine. I mean, have faith in the divine for the sake of divine, but that thing will be always there, no? And the past or the future, you will be saved. Actually,
Yeah.
that
Could
yeah,
you rephrase it again? Try it in
yeah,
a
but
way.
no. Actually, the past will be always there. Actually, it will be lingering, and that faith also, your future will be saved if you have the faith in divine, strong faith
Ah,
in divine. Yeah,
yeah.
that tendency, yeah, that when you are talking, it came to me actually. It's a picture actually.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, the future, you will be that assurance. We will automatically will create that mindset. No, actually, divine will take care of your future. Actually, so
Yeah.
we are not going to divine for the sake of divine. That there also we have that selfishness, or that prayer is there actually always. Yeah,
Yes. Yes.
yeah, that is the bond of the past. I don't know that
Yeah.
those thoughts came. Yeah,
Yeah. I think you're right. In the beginning, we don't, in the beginning, and also the beginning can continue for a long time. In the beginning, we don't approach the divine for just for the sake of divine. That's so
yeah,
true.
correct,
If
correct.
not
Yeah,
for the burdens in our head, we will never
yeah.
approach the divine.
Uh,
Yeah.
it is really imbibed in the mind that divine is, I mean, for that sake, I mean, that feeling, yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyone else at this point?
I couldn't understand it very clearly,
Yeah.
but I feel that as we grow up,
Maybe
in a
my expression is not good actually. I couldn't express more than that. I don't know
I
how to tell.
couldn't catch it, Chitradi. Actually, I felt that, when we are very small, divine is just to provide us. He's a provider. And that is
Yeah,
our only
yeah,
connect. It is not that divine is for for divine only.
yeah,
For,
correct.
that comes much later, I think, after I got connected with Shri Aurobindo and Mother, I got that. Otherwise, it was, no, if I do this, divine will give me. If I ask this, I'll get this.
Yeah,
Initially, it began like that. Any
correct.
fear, no, no, divine will protect me. He's kind of the
Yeah, that
provider.
protect. Yeah, that protection. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
till today I feel that actually that protection will be there always. Not we are. Yeah, that is what I want to express. Correct. Yeah.
I mean, that's how I interpret it, so I wanted to clarify it.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah. Anyone else at this point? Okay. Yeah. So, thou will transform them so radically that liberated completely. Now, this is very interesting. Mother says, liberated completely from the bonds of the past. It means there is this possibility that exists. There is a possibility of a life divine here, right in this sentence, that I don't need to live a life which is burdened with the past, because it is a distorted expression. It is a distorted expression of my being when I am living a life which is full of my past, and again I continue that past into the future. Now, we may say that all the other people are also living like that, but we also can see for the very fact that what kind of a life that other person has right now as a fact when he is living a life of the past. There is a remarkable, drastic change in the quality of life whenever we have been able to live beyond the clutches of the past. Remarkable, radically you can see this change. And I'm not saying that people are always rid of the past, but even if at large there are people around you who you can see, observe, live a life which is largely free of the past, we see the dramatic change. So, liberated completely from the bonds of the past, they will begin to live in thee an entirely new life, a life made solely of thee. Now, when Mother says thee here, it can also be a reference to all the aspects, for example, purity, a life of purity, life made solely of purity, a life following truth and not falsehood in our being, a life which is more and more light and moving more and more beyond darkness, a life which is an elevated life in the sense larger and larger and larger, widening, ever expanding horizons in our being are being shown to us. So this is all manifestations of thee. So in order to make it practical for us, because one may have an image about what is mother wanting to say when mother says a life made solely of thee. So we can also take it in this way, that it is more refined life, a life which is purer, which is transparent, where the disfigurations of ego are lesser and lesser. That is, moving towards more and more purity, is a life made solely of thee, with thee as its sovereign Lord, with truth as its sovereign Lord. For now, largely our life is falsehood as the sovereign Lord. We live for the ego, thinking that I am serving myself, but I am not really serving myself. Because if I had been serving myself, I would not feel so drained and incomplete. Because I am trying to fulfill and fulfill and fulfill and fulfill. And if really this fulfillment was happening to my own being, then at least at some point of time I will feel fulfilled. But we see that as if this bottomless abyss of falsehood that I keep on serving, called the ego, all my life, there is no end to serving the ego, as if it never keep feels satiated. So I feel that I am serving myself, but it's not really myself. Ego is a falsehood, and that is how I get to know for myself that in my own experiences, at all the times when I have given something to the demands and expectations of the ego, even then I have remained a beggar. So there is no end to the begging of the ego. And if ego was me, then I would have felt fulfilled, because it's not that I have not fulfilled the demands in my life. I have fulfilled. Many, many times I have fulfilled. Still I remain a beggar. It definitely means that ego is not my true self, because feeding it does not feed me. I still feel drained. I still feel exhausted. You know? So this slave ship has to be changed. At the moment, I am a slave to the lord of falsehood, which is the ego. And now the partnership has to be changed. As Kabir says, Kabir Kutta Ram ka, he says that I am loyally tied to Ram, which is truth. I am loyally tied to truth. And wherever truth takes me, I go. I am the dog of my Lord. And in this way, all anxieties will be transformed into serenity, all anguish into peace, all doubts into certainties, all ugliness into harmony, all egoism into self giving, all darkness into light, and all suffering into immutable happiness. Now, this is also very deeply connected with this prayer, I think Chitraji was also sharing. Asato ma sadgamaya तमसो माँ ज्योतिर्गमया मृत्योर माँ अमृतम गमया. असत से सत की ओर ले जा. Asat is that which is temporal, that which appears to be limited. Asat, that which is in bound by the bounds of time. Sat is that which is not bound by the bound of time. We can also call it truth and falsehood, because asat to sat. So from mortality, from being bound to time, take me to the eternal. Being bound in tamas, in darkness, tamaso ma jyotirgamaya, take me towards more and more light, increasing light. Mrityor ma amritam gamaya. So that which is bound by time, which definitely is in the clutches of time. So it is mortal. Take me from this identification to mortal existence to my own immortality, knowing and identifying myself as immortal and not the mortal being that I consider myself to be. And when I do this, it is not possible that slowly, gradually, all the anxieties are transformed actually into serenity. Because then what is there to fear? If I know myself as more and more as the immortal, what is there to fear? What will be taken away from me? All anguish into peace. What can be taken away from me? So I am calm. I'm peaceful. Now it's not that anxiety will not come. It may come owing to the past tendencies. Yet it will loosen its grip over me. It will not be able to trouble me that much as it used to do earlier. All doubts into certainties. The certainty of the divine victory, the victory of immortality over mortality. All ugliness that we see in our own self, the ugliness of patterns, the ugliness of words that we say to each other many times. Sometimes I'm full of shame. How on earth can this word come out of my mouth? So that ugliness of patterns that we are sticking to, old sanskaras that stick to us, all ugliness slowly, gradually is transformed into harmony, more and more into an understanding that this is not where I want to live. All egoism into self-giving. Now, how mother has placed egoism next to self-giving? Because egoism is always demanding. Ego always is asking, give me this, give me that. Approval from people, not wanting rejection from people. तूने मुझे insult कैसे कर दिया? So all this game that ego plays, wanting to fulfill itself owing to the fact that it is always begging and begging and begging, So instead of begging, what do I transform into? Into self-giving. Now, when I realize that there can be nothing added on to me and nothing can be subtracted from me, identifying more and more with my immortal essence, then only I can begin this life of self-giving. Not before that. All of us want to give ourselves. It's not that we are not inherently wanting to give, but then it's a mixture of ego mixed with the self-giving. And that is what we have to sort. We have to sort the ego out and live life purely of self-giving gradually, in increasing order. All darkness into light. So wherever there are nooks and corners of my being where I cannot really see, what is there? Something is there, some grain of sand is there, some darkness is there, but I can't really see what is happening. So slowly all the nooks and corners of the being become more transparent, more lucid and luminous. The light of consciousness, when it falls on these nooks and corners, it makes it more luminous. Yeah. Cutting out intermittently. Is the voice cutting out for other people also? Shilpi is
No,
asking.
Monica. No,
Okay.
Monica.
No,
Okay.
you're clear. You're clear.
Yeah, yeah.
शिल्पी आप ही का कुछ होगा शायद इंटरनेट इशू होगा फिर है ना yeah and all the suffering into immutable happiness. Now this is again a catch, a beautiful catch, because as long as I live a life of ego, as a slave of ego, demanding, it is not possible that suffering does not come to me, even in a smaller degree. As long as the ego remains, you know personal suffering will come to me. I'm just talking of personal suffering, me and my relationships, me and my demands, that kind of a suffering. Now masters and avatars have also gone through suffering, but they have gone through suffering of a humankind, they have gone through suffering of mankind, and they have had the strength because they were connected with a deeper strength within, so that they could take all that suffering and transform into something different. But we are trapped into our individual sufferings. So as long as I am a slave to my individual demands and expectation and wanting, begging always for me, it is not possible that I don't suffer in a greater or a larger degree. So that suffering, owing to the fact that the ego will be transformed into self-giving more and more, will be transformed into immutable happiness. Why? Because I will realize that nothing on this earth can give me happiness. I am happiness itself. And that is why if my once my cup is full, only then I can give it to others. I'm not now demanding from others कि भाई मैंने तुम्हें ये दिया तुम मुझे ये दो. मैंने तुम्हें interaction दिया तुम मुझे कुछ और दो. So this demand will be ceased. It's not that the interactions will not be happening, but they will be more happening rather than a demand. That I am waiting and waiting for somebody to say something so that I feel happy. That demand will be slowly, gradually, uh, kind of, it'll decrease and decrease and decrease from my life, owing to the fact of a realization that dawns that nothing on this earth can give me peace and happiness, which is my true nature. And then only the self giving starts, taking a stance as that full cup. Yeah. Anything till here? Okay. But art thou not already performing this beautiful miracle? I see it flowering everywhere around us. We see that, yes, people are changing. I am changing. I may go back to the darkness again and again, but there is more and more light also, I can see. We cannot deny that the light is not there, owing to the fact that many a times we are trapped in our tendencies. But we cannot deny the wisdom that is also there. We cannot deny that more and more people are awakening to finding a deeper truth within themselves. So mother is sharing that this is already happening. you know it is not maybe published much in newspapers, because in newspapers we see mostly all the darkness that is there. But it does not mean that if it's not in the newspaper it is not happening. Hmm? O divine law of beauty and love, supreme liberator, there is no obstacle to thy power. So mother is again certifying that no one can stop you from making the miracle happen. It may take longer time if the conscious collaboration is not there, but that does not mean that the miracle will not happen. It will happen. This miracle of connection of the inner and outer being, living not as egos but living as divine instruments. More and more unconsciousness changing into consciousness. This is the miracle. Only our own blindness deprives us of the comforting sight of thy constant victory. Now, what is this blindness? And I would uh, want to invoke reflections here. When Mother says, only our blindness deprives us of the comforting sight of thy constant victory. Would anyone, would all of you one by one want to share on this blindness that Mother talks of?
Actually, when I was reading itself, I felt that, but I felt the blindness is from mind actually.
Yes, yes. Thank you, Chitraji. Anyone else?
Basically, we just don't look beyond. We don't keep ourselves aware, and we are just blind to every change around us. We are blind to all the whatever is happening for the better around us, and it's only when we go into that we are in a constant state, mostly of inertia. So we are actually blind.
Yeah. Thank you, Jyotsna ji. Anyone else? Shreya and Shilpi? Any reflections on this blindness that Mother shares?
Um, what I feel this blindness is the inability to see the bigger picture, to see beyond.
Shreya, can you be a little louder?
Is this better?
Not yet, not yet. The audibility is not very good.
Is this better?
या पहले से बेटर है. हाँ हाँ हाँ, बोलो अब क्या बोल रहे थे.
Okay, so I was saying that I feel that this is the inability to see the bigger picture, to see beyond my suffering, and to see, yeah, to see beyond the current circumstances, and to see what is happening, what is happening, why is it that whatever is happening, and uh, the inability to see, as they say, the grand overall design, to see the truth behind it in a way. Although I don't understand the second part of the statement, I mean, completely comforting sight of thy constant victory.
Yeah, yeah.
But I feel that this blindness is the inability to see beyond.
Okay, okay. Thank you so much. Shilpi, do you have the capacity to share? Okay, I think Shilpi is maybe not, cannot share. I don't know. Okay, Shilpi is typing. Okay, Shilpi, you share your reflection and I'll read it out. Yeah. So we will talk about this blindness and constant victory, Shreya, in a moment. Let Shilpi share.
Her typing seems to have stopped. It's come.
Yeah, let me just read it out. So Shilpi is sharing, Mother says, Thy constant victory is there only, and anything that keeps me from seeing that is blindness. Beautiful. Thank you, Shilpi. Thank you for sharing. Beautiful. Now, देखो, imagine that I'm going through a relationship challenge. Huh? Now, owing to the fact that I wanted to depend on a person, I see that I cannot really depend on that person, because that person is going through his or her own challenges in their life. So I wanted to anchor myself in that person or a life situation or a sibling or anything that is material. I wanted to anchor myself there. Now I could not do that. I saw my inability to anchor myself there. Now, I will be really disappointed when this is happening, owing to the fact that the mind had ideas, about it, that this is how it is going to be. I had ideas in my mind that this is how my beautiful life is going to be, anchoring myself in this and this relationship, right? Now that is not happening. So there is a disappointment. There is a disappointment in my being that, oh my God, as I expected is not happening. Now, what is the constant victory that is happening? Owing to the fact that I was not able to anchor myself anywhere materially, not even in my bestest of friends. The constant victory that is happening all the time is that I am forced to anchor myself within my being. That is the divine. I am forced to come back home to myself in my being. That is the divine, the temple that is there in me. If not for those continuing rejections, to not to able to not when where I was not able to peg myself down in any material aspects of manifestation, whether it is a person, relationship, human being, anything, call it anything. If that rejection would not have come, I would not have cared to go within my true temple. I would not have even known that there is something called a temple within the being. So this is the constant victory that is happening, that owing to the rejections in our life, owing to the fact that I am not able to anchor myself in the life anywhere than my own being, is the constant victory that is happening. Now what keeps me blinded? What, as all of you were sharing, the image that I have in my mind of a beautiful life, that is blinding me. So the thought, the story of the mind, that this is how it is supposed to be if the life is beautiful, that is blinding. I'm not able to see that, oh my God, it is sending me deeper within my being. It is making me come back home to myself. That constant victory I cannot see owing to the blindness. So that is how, practically we play blind, I would say. It's not that we are blind, we play blind. And we although some part of me is able to also see that this is good for me, this coming back home, this deepening aspect within my being is very very good for me, although it is marred with disappointments also. But let us take those disappointments as auspicious ones, because they are doing really something good. And it's not that I'll not be relating again with people. I will again be relating with people, but not, I would not be wanting to peg myself down to people. I would not be putting this burden and anchoring myself into external situations and people. I will be the in charge, or the divine will be the in charge of peace and happiness, and not any external situation, no matter how bad it may go. Yeah. And when this happens in our life, at any moment, it can happen anytime, and it can be reversed anytime in any moment also. My heart sings a hymn of gladness, and my thought is illumined with joy, that thank God I got so many rejections, so many insults, and if not for that, I would never come back home. So a gladness comes into the being, a joy of being alone with myself. Thy transcendent and marvelous love is the sovereign master of the world. Mother declares again that yes, only love, your transcendent love, a love which is not bordering, it's not limited quality of love, that is the all reigning master of the world, and that has the power of transforming in, so many, what, no matter how many years it may take, but that has only got the power of transformation. Yeah. So any remarks, any comments?
Yeah, I'll tell a little bit of story of mine because it totally resonated with my life. You said no, actually.
Yes, please. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, what happened when I'm living in Bangalore with my daughter. My husband is in Chennai. Actually, I ended up with fibroid in the uterus 6 or 7 years back. Actually, so at that time, I mean, I really, really worried about myself, what will happen to me. So I really begged my husband to be with me here and wind up the business. He said, "No way, actually, I won't come." That made me to go, as you said. Actually, it gave me a lot of strength to live alone. Actually, uh, so much of strength I gained by Mother's grace. I faced everything. The fibroid also removed. But till that time, actually, when I was admitted in the hospital, also he came late only. Absolutely I didn't worry because mother gave me lot of strength. Then I realized how important is the business for him, actually. So now the peace is there between us. I freed him from my mental attitude, and he also realized now. So that peace and harmony is now it is established in the family. But when the expectation was there in me, every time it was a big struggle only, actually. So really the growth and strength happened only after I totally believe in mother's force. Till that time, I thought only my husband should be with me. So this is my experience. When you are telling, totally it resonated with me. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Beautiful. Yeah. Anyone else at this prayer, and then we can move on to the prayer that Josna ji wants to share.
There is a saying in Hindi, no? झटके खा खा के अंदर जाओ. Means the more jhatkas we khao, the more within we go, within ourselves. The more
Totally.
hits we get, the more we will go within and say,
Yeah.
no, I've got to stand on my feet. So
Yeah.
basically, it was mother's way of giving you the jhatkas to make you go inside.
Yeah. Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, I think all of us in some stages or many stages in life, we've all had that jhatka khao or andar jao.
Correct.
So true. Yeah. Yes, very well. Anyone else at this?
I want to share something. Can you hear me clearly? Can you
Yes,
guys
Shreya?
hear me?
Yes, Shreya.
I just wanted to say it's not a reflection really, it's just a sharing. Something that I feel that in some areas of my life, surrender comes easily, and in some areas, I'm still holding on. For example, my health. I still see that I want to be perfectly fine physically, health wise. And there's always something or the other happening every month or 2 months, and I'm not able to surrender. There's this fear and this inability to accept that whatever is happening is fine. Somehow, yeah, I mean, we were talking that statement about victory, that thy constant victory. I mean, that just made me. I read it, I feel it, but I'm not able to really surrender to it in a way.
Shreya, may I ask, when you say that I am not able to surrender to it, right? What do you exactly mean by it?
I'm not able to see the. I mean, a part of me sees that whatever is happening is bringing some, as you say, gift for me. um, I'm okay to look at it, but I'm also not okay to look at it. I'm somewhere, I feel I'm tired. I'm tired of opening these boxes that are coming my way every few months. So I don't know. I just feel tired. Tiredness is what
Yeah.
comes to me again
So,
and again.
so when you say that I feel that I am not able to surrender to the fact, what kind of an image you may be having when you say that this is where I will be surrendered? So imagine that Shreya has surrendered. What is the image that you are having in your mind, if any?
The image is that, no matter what the day brings, you can still continue on feeling the grace. You don't
How?
sit and resist and complain and, feel bothered or feel. There's no resistance basically to what is happening. There is
Okay.
an allowance in a way.
Okay.
um, and I can see that kind of a feeling in areas of my life, in some areas of my life, but in some areas of my life I still feel this resistance to what is.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, Shreya, just because this is so beautiful what you shared, imagine that you are sitting, huh? And you have all the whatever the complications with the body right here, and you also have the resistance to whatever that you are sharing. That I also see that there is a resistance that I don't want to be here, right? So, do you see any possibility of being there with the disease, being there with the resistance, and yet making the right action towards whatever feels necessary, whatever you deem fit to be done in that direction? Uh, is that a possibility you see for yourself? That you are not negate, you don't want the resistance to go away. You see that the resistance is there, huh? So something in you says, okay, resistance है तो है, क्या करें, you know जाते जाते जाएगी, नहीं जा रही. Something in you also sees that you don't want to be where you are right now, right? So resistance is there. Resistance is also allowed. The disease is for now a fact in my life. What is the best I can do considering both of them that are there? Do you see any possibility of you in that direction?
I can try. I can imagine that. Usually I'm always fighting the resistance. I can try that.
Yeah, yeah. Shreya, why I am saying that is resistance is like a ghost. The more I try to fight with it, the more I am giving it power. Now, resistance per se does not have any power if I don't focus on it, right? I just say, okay, है तू चल बैठ जा कमरे में, something like that. मैं तो वो
You
करूंगी
know,
जो सही लग रहा है. हाँ, yeah,
right. So there are days when, I start my day thinking that, okay, whatever is, and I will just live my life doing things that I want to do and not focus on the problems that my physical body has. But somewhere, like maybe by the end of the day, or if I'm just sitting and that pain comes up again, it just takes me down completely. That, why does it not go away?
Yeah, totally with you. Yes, totally.
Can
Yes,
I
Jyotsna.
share something personal?
Yeah, please do.
Uh, Basically, I have had a lot of instances in my life when I have felt like you, Shreya. I was young, starting my diseases and illnesses started when I was 28, and there have been plenty. And somewhere along the way, when I was reading Mother and Sri Aurobindo, I read, and other seers and avatars and masters, I read that, they had a lot of illnesses, physical, lots. From Ramakrishna Paramahans, you take to Swami Vivekanand, to Mother, to Sri Aurobindo, physical ailments I'm talking of, which gave them a lot of pain and suffering. And when that one fine day, when I was in a lot of pain, it hit me that if they could get it, then what am I? I am just a kida in front of them. And then I realized that maybe I'll change my questioning stance, Shreya. I thought I'll say, Ma, okay, you've given me this disease or this illness or whatever it is. You've given it to me. So okay, it's in my plate. Now you give me the strength to take what is in my plate and be able to go past it and go beyond it. And believe me, I have touched this age of 63 only on that one conviction. She gives me the strength, and I take the next step forward, and I go ahead and I go ahead. And each illness I tell, Bhag yaar, next one. And Shreya, it works. Believe me, it works. I have used this experiment on myself. You may actually laugh at me initially, but then why, when I was reading, it was said that when you're closest or you're getting closer to the divine, physical ailments are a test of the being. I'm talking in layman's terms. They test you. They test your patience. They test your faith. They test your ability to surrender. They test your ability of self-giving. How much of yourself can you just surrender despite any pain or any hardship? And that test takes you to the next step of the ladder. Try it.
Okay, I will try it. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you, Jyotsna ji. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. Very nice. Yeah.
Anyone else? Or shall we take Jyotsna ji's prayer? एक वो एग्जाम्पल दिया था मैंने आई डोंट नो श्रेया इफ यू रिमेंबर दैट एग्जाम्पल दैट इफ आई हैव टू कैच अ ट्रेन और अ फ्लाइट and if I lose something on the way which is not really that important, I will still go ahead and catch the flight or train because that has more importance in my life rather than losing a slipper or losing a little pen somewhere, right? The thing is, I also feel that we don't have something really worth pursuing in our life. So all the time I am just worried about little things here and there. I'm not saying that our diseases are little things. Our diseases are a fact, and there is no body in human existence, as Jyotsna ji was also sharing, which has not undergone diseases, right? But can I, no matter how much life I have left with myself, can I give my life to something so important, something so absorbing, that these things become a sidey thing, like अगर है for example, अगर कोई कैंसर की भी मुझसे बात करता है, रेमिशन की बात करता है, I say that I have no clue whether it can come again or not, and I don't even have time to focus upon it. So can we give ourselves to something so important and relevant in our life, so that yes, the things are there, difficulties are there, but I don't have the time to focus on them. I do whatever action is required. If the medicine has to be taken, if yoga or something has to be done, I do. It's not that I don't care about it. but I don't have excessive time to focus upon it. I think that also relieves us of our burdens of miseries. Because अगर मिजरी की बात करने लगो तो ऐसा कौन है जिसके जीवन में कुछ है नहीं, बात करने लायक. So if one can also find something worthwhile, as I think Jyotsna ji also shared, giving ourselves, that we give ourselves to something which is far, far, far more relevant and a worthy way of living life, then these things become sidey. ऐसा नहीं है कि problem खत्म हो जाएगी overnight या first of all one may find a relief there. Secondly, they become a sidey thing, that it doesn't matter now. My whole focus is not on the diseases. Yeah. So, if not any further comments, then we can take up the prayer by Jyotsna ji. So, Jyotsna ji, if you want to read out this prayer and share why you chose it. Yeah, thank you.
December 7th, 1912. Like a flame that burns in silence, like a perfume that rises straight upward without wavering, my love goes to thee, and like the child who does not reason and has no care, I trust myself to thee that thy will may be done, and that thy light may manifest, thy peace radiate, and thy love cover the world. When thou willest, I shall be in thee, thyself, and there shall be no more any distinction. I await that blessed hour without impatience of any kind, letting myself flow irresistibly toward it as a peaceful stream flows toward the boundless ocean. Thy peace is in me, and in that peace I see thee alone, present in everything with the calm of eternity. I chose this prayer only after I had read the prayer that you had sent, Monica. I read it a few times and I was reading prayers and meditations, and when I saw this one, it was linked to yours in a way, because we have to be like that flame which burns in silence, or like a perfume which goes upward without wavering. You know, it's it's absolutely non-wavering. We just have one thing that we want to do is reach there without any impatience or any hurry where we can get a shortcut. There is no shortcut. And once that is achieved, all is achieved. So it is just that we have to put all our actions, thoughts, everything towards that one goal. And a peculiar peace enters in us when, even though actually, though we may think that we are striving, but we are not. It's a very calm stream that goes slowly, slowly taking us, and we just hope that one day we reach there. That's about it. I mean, that is why I chose it. It is a very, very fulfilling prayer.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you, Jyotsna ji. Anyone else on this prayer? Any reflections on this prayer?
And also, mother insisted upon that peace, no? Only first peace and then thy love, she said. Thy light may manifest, thy peace radiate, thy love cover the world. Is there anything, I mean, first peace should settle in us, then only we will taste that divine love, like that. I'm just asking you, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Shilpi is sharing. I also found this without impatience of any kind. She likes this sentence. I think Jyotsna ji also stressed upon this sentence, without impatience of any kind. This is really beautiful. I think that was, we were talking about it some other day, right? That the yearning, I think in Savitri session, somebody was sharing, or some other session, that the yearning I have got for you is the love itself, is you itself. Now, why people would say that? Because, see, divine is infinite. That which is infinite can never be reached. I can never say I have reached the divine. I can never say now I am divine. It can always be a journey continuing on and on and on and on. So this yearning for the divine, if one has, or yearning for love, yearning for beauty in within ourselves, yearning for harmony in the being, more and more light, so that the darkness is, we go beyond the darkness. If this yearning for harmonizing is there, that yearning itself brings peace. That is the very taste of the divine. The yearning itself is the taste of the divine. So it feels that this peace, and also as you were sharing, without impatience. Now, impatience is the quality of the vital. Impatience is the quality of the outer being. It's the quality of the ego which wants to fulfill itself. Now, अगर मुझे yearning से already fulfillment हो गई है, if I am already happy that thank God that I am yearning with this burning intensity for the divine, that itself is completion in itself. So that yearning will not be a vital vigor of any sort, because it is not of the ego. That yearning for the divine is the divine itself. And that brings a lot of calm and peace in the being. That brings a lot of light, that oh my God, I don't need to reach anywhere. Wow. Yes, there are things to be transformed. Yes, there are many things that have to be harmonized. But I don't need to rush for it. Because no matter how much I rush for it, since the goal is towards the infinite, I will never be able to reach it. So, what is the rush? But having said that, there is also that there is whatever time I have at hand, can I make it into a beautiful time? So, there is this very beautiful paradox together, that yes, there is harmony to be brought in the being, but there is no rush or impatience in this harmony, in this aspiration. So that is really very powerful. Thank you for stressing, yeah, upon it. Yeah.
No, basically, I always feel that it is impatience that kills the ride. In everything, we're just impatient. We just want it. We just want it. We just want this. Once that kind of a peculiar kind of a peace settles in us, wherein we're quite calm, and you just flow with whatever is happening, and patiently look around, being with an awareness. I think we are better off.
Yes, very true. वही हुआ ना कि we entered into spirituality, but the quality of mind remained the same. The unhealthy quality of mind, which usually is, demanding, 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 demanding. So if I'm still demanding, only then the impatience is going to be there, right? So if my mind has undergone or is undergoing this radical transformation from being a slave to the ego to being a slave of the truth, then it is not possible for the impatience to still continue to exist in its intensity, because the quality of mind has changed completely. From a demanding and seeking and incomplete mind, it is more a restful mind which works out of an understanding. Yeah, it's really beautiful. Thank you for sharing. Shilpi wants to share something, and I think impatience is trying to make divine also in our dimension to grasp it. Exactly. Yeah, so the mind says that divine is an object, and when will I able to grasp it? So this is the mind game has not changed. It's still the same kind of a mind, still wants to objectify the divine. So the divine is a limited object, and sooner or later I will get that object. The quality of mind has remained the same. It is still focusing on the object, while this complete lack of impatience would be a mind which is resting in its source now, which is not the seeking quality of the mind. And that's where patience and surrender come into being. Beautiful. Thank you so much. Yeah. Anything else?
Monica, regarding that previous prayer, no, January 11th, 1914, we saw that mother said, actually, the transformation will be there, but we are so, yeah, I will read that. I know that it will come one day. I know that a day will come when thou will transform all those who come to us. Regarding this, actually, Sri Nalnikant Gupta, one of the sadhak was there, no? He read out a mother's saying in the school, actually, in one of the function, it seems. I will read those lines because it very much resonate with those lines. Mother said many times, whoever gets my touch, whoever has a second of true, whoever has a second of true aspiration, true love for me, he is finished for life, for all lives. He is bound to me. I have put a golden chain round his neck. His heart is bound eternally to me. It is a thing nobody can see. You yourselves don't see, but it is a fact. It is there. The golden chain is there within your heart. Wherever you go, you drag that chain. It is a lengthening chain. However far you may go, it is an elastic chain. It goes on lengthening, but never snaps. In hours of difficulty, in hours of doubt and confusion in your life, you have that within you to support you. If you are conscious of it, so much the better. If you are not conscious, believe that it is there, the mother's love. Her presence is there always. Yeah, that when you are reading itself, these lines came to me when I read this, one of the magazine from the school, it is called Golden Chain, this magazine itself.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Chitraji. Great. So, shall we call it a day? Any further reflections? Anything?
Thank you, Monica.
Thank you,
An
Chitraji.
excellent session. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you
Thank you,
all.
everyone.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye bye.